Good morning, everyone. This is Ann Miller French with Angelic Hands here to do this week's live. And I'm hopping on a little bit earlier today. Got a pretty jam-packed schedule this week, so I wanted to make sure that I connected with all of you. I hope that you had a beautiful weekend. If you're just tuning in, hello and welcome. You're welcome to hop in on the feed. Tell me, where you're coming in from, how your weekend was. It's always nice to see who's joining me. So I am streaming live on my page for Angelic Hands on Facebook, as well as on my YouTube channel for Angelic Hands. So I look forward to doing these lives every week, and I decided to go with the format of sharing messages that are coming through from Spirit, because as I continue to receive downloads and different information as I am going through my daily self-care regimen, there's different things that I'm being guided to share with each and every one of you. So anyone that's not familiar with me, just a little bit of my background. I'm the owner and founder of Angelic Hands. Started my practice back in early 2016. Although I am not a newbie to holistic wellness, I actually started my journey, I want to say about the 1991 timeframe, after a very significant chain of events that happened for me with my health. Hi, Chandra. Nice to see you hopping on again. Always love the hearts and the hellos. And I went through a lot of changes in my life. So fast forward to 2015, went through another significant shakeup in my life where I shared this my life story with others where I literally hit rock bottom. So I had a lot of things going on with my health. I had a lot of things going on um, career wise, relationship wise, really everything came to the forefront. So anything that I was ignoring and hadn't made peace with yet literally got my attention. So it was like somebody, pulled out the rug from under me, and I had to start taking action and take accountability for my life and start to piece back together those missing parts of me. So very much like if you look at a puzzle and there's a whole puzzle, well, if we look at the self, and it's a message that I'm being guided to share by Spirit today. So I'm joined by the highest, most loving, benevolent beings of love and light. They are here with me today. I am, going to be sharing information and wanted to talk about this period of reconciliation with self. So I'm going to be going into that, and I'm also going to share one oracle card that was coming up. There's a deck that I've used multiple times before, and this particular card's coming up again. So there is a good reason for that, and it's really going to tie in with this week's message. So I am a quantum life coach. I specialize in relationship coaching, the healing of the inner child. I work with holistic wellness with my clients, pretty much anything from A to Z. When my clients come in, if they're working on time management, their money line, finances, relationships, career, working with their spirituality, working with their gifts, health goals, wellness goals, there's really nothing off limits. If someone is working through addictions or starting their self-love journey, and I talk about that a lot, and that'll also be brought up with today's live. I mean, if you had to ask yourself the question, when was the last time you stood in front of a mirror and looked at yourself first thing in the morning and said something kind to yourself, or even said these three words, I love you? That is so very powerful, knowing that your thoughts do create your reality. And I'm actually being guided by the guides. This is the deck that I'm using again. It's by James Van Praagh. He is also a medium, well-known author. I love his work. Messages from the guides. These are his cards. And the card that was coming up is your thoughts create create your reality. So really being aware of what's going on inside of this vessel and knowing that whatever is being sent out, it's turning, that energy, those thoughts into form. So making peace with what's going on inside of here, that I always talk about, that the change truly starts from within, and then you start to see that outside of you. um, I also work with energy therapy. I'm a Reiki master teacher, so I do all of my sessions remotely. I teach Reiki workshops, but I also do the remote distant Reiki sessions with holistic wellness consultations. I work with something called light language healing. That's the language of the cosmos. It's received at the utmost, deepest cellular level of the body, quite powerful. I love to combine it with Reiki, and a lot of my clients love to do the combination. I do something that's called quantum energy healing. I am a psychic and a medium, so I also offer readings. So if any of that resonates with you, check it out. There's a full description for each service that I offer. And my website is listed on the description for today's live, but just give a quick shout out from my website, which is ReikiAngelicHands.com. That's ReikiAngelikHands.com. All right, so we're going to talk about the information that's coming up, and this is something that my mentor, Jessica Ahlstrom, has really talked about a lot, and that's the year of reconciliation. So that was coming up loud and clear for me today to share this message with all of you and how that applies to each and every one of you, including myself. So if you had to really sit and take inventory, like take stock of anywhere in your life, like if you looked at any part of you that you're still not in love with, that you're in judgment of, anyone that's outside of you that's acting as a mirror reflecting back. Remember, everyone outside of us is a fractal. They're reflecting something back. So they're either inspiring us, or if we find that we're disgusted by someone or something, or if we're repulsed by actions, or if we don't like something going on in the world, start to take a look at what is going on inside of here, what's going on inside of this body, and really making peace and reconciling with what's going on. So I know I can tell you wholeheartedly that I have uh, made peace with many different areas of my life, and I continue to work on this journey. It's not a one-time event. It is a daily work. We all are a daily work in process. And any time you decide to go on your journey and do the work, it's work. It takes dedication to the process, patience, and a commitment and consistency, and continuing to show up each and every day. Even if it's taking one small action step forward, is better than none at all. And that inner peace, finding that inner peace, is so amazing. And to look at any time where we've played the role of the victim, or we've played the role of the perpetrator, when have we done something that we don't like somebody doing it to us? When have we done it to someone else? Or what part of our body are we not happy with, or are we not in love with? Remembering, like this card says, your thoughts create your reality. So it's taking those action steps to fall in the, what I'm hearing from spirit is, fall in love, learn to fall in love with yourself all over again, and welcome home. It's like welcoming home a long lost friend. And I recently went through another light language activation. It was something that I felt called to do again. So it was my fourth one with my mentor, and literally started to see even more changes. And I'm so grateful for that, because the beauty of light language is it bypasses the human mind. It bypasses the what we call the ego, or the ghosted inner child, and it allows us to receive it. When I'm speaking it, it's going to sound a bunch of gibberish. It'll sound like a bunch of nonsense, but those healing activation codes are very much understood by your soul, and they're received at the cellular level of the body, as I mentioned before. So everyone has light language, but if that's something that you're interested in trying a session, that's a beautiful place to start. And then if you're looking to receive your own activation, it's what I call like an activation or an attunement, to open that up again, to be able to use your own language of the universe, the language of the cosmos, and to start bringing about that change that you're seeking, knowing that it starts from within. So you have a lot of different options. Sometimes I have clients that reach out where they want to dip their toes in the water and start out with a reading, or they want to start out with Reiki. It really depends on where you're at in your journey. And if you have that inner nudging that's guiding you forward, if you're not even sure where to start, reach out. Let's have a conversation and see what's going to be a great fit for you. It's something that I'm extremely passionate about, because I will tell you that I've been witnessing my own personal transformation since I started this journey back in, I want to say it really started for me back in 1990, and even previous to that, where I knew as a little girl that I always felt different. I sensed things. So my psychic abilities are so much more open now versus even when I was a child. But there were certain things that I didn't work with for the longest time, because after hearing so many times over and over and over again as a child, don't say that, don't act like that, don't feel that, don't, the word no and don't, and it was just a lot of negativity. So through that time and all that, those layers of trauma, it literally suppressed a lot of things. But as I really made that commitment to self and working with my team and spirit, I continued to just open myself up and work with those gifts. So they're nothing to be afraid of. So if you find that you're receiving visions, you're hearing things, you're feeling things, you're sensing things, perhaps it's coming through as a taste and or a scent, that's beautiful. And, like I said, with uh, the sessions that I do, they're so powerful and effective. You are ultimately doing the work, but I am holding space for you as you're walking through your journey and learning different tools and techniques that get you from where you're at to where you want to be in a quicker amount of time. Yes, we can all go this journey alone, but having someone in your corner that has your back, that's walking with you, that's when you really start to see the shifts. That's when you really start to what I call quantum leap, and bringing about that balance holistically to the body, the mind, the spirit. So having everything sync up, it's like visualizing this beautiful triangle and asking yourself the question, what's going on with my body physically? What's going on with me emotionally? Where are my emotions? What's going on mentally? What's going on spiritually? I mean, really having this dialogue with yourself. I'm just going to take a quick look just to see who's here. Oh, I hear you, Nicole. There's so many changes going on. I mean, this is the time of awakening and going through this ascension journey and reclaiming those lost parts of self, and to start to feel whole again. So in the beginning of this live, I talked about if we looked at ourselves as a puzzle, and once the puzzle is complete, it's that feeling of being whole again. Anytime we've had trauma, we've had injuries, we've had heartbreaks, we've had loss, um, we've been humiliated, shamed, we've experienced grief, any of those lower consciousness energies and or thought forms, there's like an energetic part of us that checks out. So it's calling those pieces back home. So it's making that peace within and reconciling whatever isn't reconciled yet. So it's being able to stand in front of that mirror, say those three words, I love you. And if that doesn't feel natural, there's something going on within, and being able to love yourself, it starts from within, and then you start to attract in the people, places, things, and you really start to see that outside of you. And, if you look at anything going on in your life where things are not in balance, it's really taking this opportunity. I call them opportunities. It may not feel like that, but it's an opportunity to start to reconcile and make peace with those parts of self. So if that's working on relationship harmony, working on your money line, working on career changes, or perhaps it's um, totally doing something else. I mean, for 26 plus years, I worked in the mining industry and I learned a lot. I'm extremely grateful for that. I worked in an office environment. So I learned a lot about computers. I learned a lot about desktop publishing. I made a lot of friends. And a lot of those tools and skill sets I took with me and applied them to when I started my practice. So it was extremely helpful. So if you look at all the different things that you've learned up to this point, and even asking yourself, what makes my heart sing? What makes me happy? And really following where you're being guided at this time, even if you feel like you're on shaky ground and you're not sure where to start, if you're having trouble identifying those energetic blind spots, the things that you may be missing, or not seeing those walls that were built because of past shames or humiliation, heartbreak, loss, whatever that looks like for you, let's connect. I mean, quantum life coaching may be the thing that's correct for you. There's a full description on everything that I share every week on my live. So if you take a look at my website, it'll give you a full description of what to expect during a session. Everything is done remotely. We find a day of the week and a time period that works well for both of us. And when you say yes to you and you get ready to, go on that adventure with self and make that commitment to start making that reconciliation, you start to call those pieces back, and then things start to click, and you start to remember who you are. You start to remember just how powerful you are. And things start to become clearer again. But you're going to have what I call the ebbs and the flows. So you're going to have your days where you're going to feel like you're on cloud nine, where you feel, like you're just up so high. And then you're going to have your days where you're coming back down. Well, that's to go and bring up some more of those parts of self. So some call that the shadow work. Finding the roots, like where is the root of the trauma? Where was the crime scene as far as when the trauma occurred? Or was it an injury? Was it a surgery? Was it something that happened to you? Something that you may have done to someone else? Also, working through what's called the dark night of the soul. And again, it may not feel like it at the time, but those are all opportunities to literally walk through it. The only way out is through. And when you decide to say yes to you and go for it, I remember my dad. So my dad passed away last year on August 7th. I can't believe we're near and almost a year already. And I still remember him saying to me when he was still with us, he always said, keep going. There is light at the end of the tunnel. He would always say things that were fun, or if you see a rainbow, just imagine that there's a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. And allow your inner child to have fun, pretend, make believe. And do you ask yourself, when was the last time I played? When was the last time I had fun? Or do I feel like I'm constantly at work, 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 and so stressed out or at the point of burnout? I was there. And I will tell you that that's not a fun space to be in, but it was how the universe got my attention, and it was through illness, very significant and painful injuries, and a change in my lifestyle that it was like a wake up call. So this awakening that I'm talking about. So if you feel like your life is flipped upside down, it's an opportunity to start looking at those things that have been on the back burner, the things that have been ignored, the things that have been the parts of you that have been rejected, the parts of you that haven't been acknowledged, the parts of you that haven't been loved, and to start making that inner peace. And a lot of information is coming out today, and I really wanted to share this message with you and connect with whoever it is out there that needed to hear this today. And every week when I show up, just know that I am holding space for you, I'm sending love, but it's ultimately up to each and every one of us to do our work, to do our inner work. Oh. Yeah, I'm reading your comments, Nicole. Yeah, got a lot going on. My heart is with you, and things do turn out beautifully when you decide to make those changes. And I remember as a little girl believing in fairy tales and believing in the happy endings or happily ever afters, and now being a witness of that in my own life. And I attracted in my soulmate. My husband and we got married this year on April 19th, and it's just, it's a beautiful partnership, and to be able to share that journey with another person. And for me, I really had to be in that healthy space to be able to attract in the people, places, things, as far as the kind of life that I wanted to live and the things that I remember as a little girl. And it's making that peace and that reconciliation. So the healing of the inner child, that's the little girl within, the little boy within. So anytime there's been any type of heartbreak, loss, trauma, the list goes on, it's reminding that part of you that's still very much active and alive inside of you, that they're safe, that they're loved, that they are enough, that they are worthy, that they are deserving, and that you're here for a reason. So it's really embodying all the parts of self that we have. The higher self, which is a part of us, it's the all-knowing, connecting with source, receiving in the information. We have the inner child that I spoke about, and then the ego, also known as the ghosted inner child. That's our alter identity that we created early on to protect the inner child. With this ascension journey that we're on, no part of us gets left behind. So if it feels like a painful process, it's having that patience, but participate patient, and really moving forward and knowing that there really is light at the end of the tunnel, and it truly is worth it. And you start to see the different signs. Like the one sign that I love to see, it's a message that pops up when my husband and I go on our errands, or sometimes when I'm on my errand alone, and it'll pop up when I least expect it. It says, expect a miracle. So if you start out your day with that, not only being in a space of gratitude, grateful for everything that you already have, whatever your gratitude is, just saying, I'm grateful for another day, I'm grateful for this healthy body, I'm grateful for this fresh start. Also, having the mindset, expect a miracle. And when you are open to it, you start to see the signs, you start to see the synchronicities, and really tuning in as far as where you're being guided and navigating forward. Oh, you're so very grateful, Chandra. So I am actually going to pull one more card from this deck. Again, I'm working with the messages from the guides. They're the transformation cards by James Van Praagh. All right, and this one's popping up. So this one is give without expectation. So sometimes the gift is simply being present and knowing that when you're in the present moment and you even giving of your time, just being there holding space for another person, not expecting anything but just being present, even giving to yourself and just being open, not having any expectations regarding the outcome, just being open to how things are going to manifest for you. It can be even bigger than you can possibly have ever imagined in your mind's eye. And knowing that the universe is always supportive of you, you are the abundance, you are the prosperity, but making that change from within and then seeing evidence of it through the people, the places, the things, and seeing those shifts that I talked about, and really expect a miracle. So I hope that this message was very helpful for you today. I am so extremely grateful for you joining me and making this connection, virtually, but just take that time for you and see what resonates with you and take those action steps. Even, like I said, if it's one small action step a day, and challenge yourself. If there's something that you've been hesitating or something where you feel like you're holding yourself back or you feel fear creeping up, allow yourself to take a nice deep breath. Through that breath, you're breathing your spirit back into your body and really allowing yourself to come together and then decide what your next steps are going to be, or tune in with your team and spirit that's with you 24/7. And if you're still having troubles connecting with that inner dialogue, let's connect. I would love to hear from you. Have a wonderful and blessed week. Thank you. I'm just reading the messages real quick. Yeah, I'm sending a lot of love to you, Nicole. Things are going to turn around for you. Just never give up. Never give up. If I can do it, you can do it. And what I'm being guided to share with you right now is back in 2015, I literally took my belongings, had them in a storage unit, whatever I could fit in there. And then my sister, my youngest sister, she is a blessing and an angel in disguise. She took me in, so I was living in the bedroom above her garage and had to start over from scratch. Really had to take that time. So take that time to go within, reflect on everything that is going right in your life and find that inner strength. You have that warrior courage. Don't ever give up. Continue to find what it is that you're seeking, going within, follow the guidance that you're receiving, and just knowing that you're so very loved. And I'm sending you lots of virtual hugs. Take care.